Today, we are blessed to present one of these insightful lectures entitled, Remember Your True Nature, Live Like a Saint, Part 1 of 5, on Between Master and Disciples, given in English and Chinese on September 1st, 2019, in New Land Ashram, Taiwan, also known as Formosa.
Taiwan? Oh, Taiwan sang rồi ha, sang rồi. Taiwan. Hả? Âu Lạc. Ok. Chào mấy đồng chí. Mình rồi. Bây giờ. Bài thư. 不用写的，坐得舒服了，坐舒服。请师傅们坐。Thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for coming. Today we are like Korean. Very generous. What is that? Wow, new color. 黄金哎。Oh. Yeah, prepare your ears. Summer wear this nice. Summer, very nice. Are you guys okay? Cool?
Yes.
The aircon works?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel cooler now. Before I was sweating. It's good, eh? Wow. Luxury. Luxurious meditation place. 안녕하세요. Welcome. Last time we talked about its special meditation method, which is very difficult to practice, very dangerous also. Oh, I wrote a lot. I don't know when I wrote it. Or maybe I should read it to you, huh? Okay, this one is not for you. Not for you. This one last time I read already. I think I wrote this before I talked to you, but then I forgot it at home. I found it. So I just read it as is, yeah? Okay? And whatever I have told you already, then it's no harm to repeat. Why is it that the method dangerous? Because you can be stuck in that kind of essential feeling and then be attached to that. Instead of going up, you're stuck there, or going down because of attachment to sensual, physical pleasure. It's very difficult to let go. So, I wrote here, Kuan Yin method, including the light and the sound, is the best for you. Best for anyone. Because it is our self-nature. I probably told that already, but I can repeat what I wrote here, okay? Yeah. Sometimes I'm inspired, to write out what I know, so that I don't forget to tell you, okay? I know already. It's just, if I tell you without writing, I might forget a little detail here and there, okay? So I wrote it down. Kuan Yin and Kuan Guang mean listening to your self-nature inside in two forms. The inside heavenly light, which is your Buddha nature or God nature. And another condensed, more concentrated form of light is the sound, which is also your original nature, Buddha nature or God nature. Now, so this method of Kuan Yin, meaning listening to your self-nature, and Kuan Guang, seeing your self-nature, is the best for you, because it's our self-nature, and our self-nature is Buddha nature, or God's nature. When we see our nature, or listen to our inner nature, that means we see our own Buddha nature, our own God quality. Thus, we are one with the Buddhas in all directions. So if we can see our own Buddha nature, we can recognize our own Buddha nature or God nature, then we are one with the Buddhas, one with our God self. Therefore, nothing dangerous can come out of that, because it's our own nature. I wrote a little shorter, but I explained a little bit. I told you last time. I continue more. So, because we are one with the Buddhas, one with God, so we will be blessed, even though we haven't completely realized our true, complete nature, but we still are already together with the Buddhas, because the Buddha has this nature. God is this nature also. In the beginning was the Word, meaning the sound. Yeah? And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. Remember that? So the Buddha said this Buddha nature is the same as the beginning, the sound was God. God nature. So if we are with that, then we're safe. Nah? We are not with anything else. We are with ourselves. If you are with yourself, yeah, you feel peace, you feel wise, you can be calm, and you can be loving, contented, feeling happily at home with all beings as well. Not just Buddhas and gods, but also with all beings. The more we know ourselves, true self, the more we be at peace with all beings and be loving to all beings. Of course, because they also have the same nature. Wow, you know everything. What do I need to sit here for? We just a pastime, okay? Since you know everything already, I just pretend also I know something, and then we just pass time seeing each other as good friends. They have the same nature as ours, because all beings have this same nature. Buddha nature or God's quality. Otherwise, where do you think we come from? We come from this wooden floor? From the sofa? Maybe? No? Or from this kind of light? No. There must be something very mighty, very powerful, that created us, created our nature. And the one who created it is one with us, the same. Yeah? God made man in his own image. Yeah. So that means we are from God. The Bible says that. And the Buddha said that all beings have the same Buddha nature. Did he say that? Yes. God nature, Buddha nature is same or not same? Same. Because how can you have two nature inside? Do you have two nature inside? Cannot. So that means Christianity, Buddhism, or any other good religions say the same thing. Because the master, the founder of these religions, knew the same things, realized the same things. Maybe they use a little different terminology according to the time of their realization and teaching, and according to the background of the country, the languages. But it's the same. You know all this already, so I don't make it a long-winded kind of lecture anymore. I read on, But we should practice well, because the more we recognize this self-nature, the more we are our own true self. The wiser we become, the more loving, compassionate to all beings, and closer to God, to Nirvana. Therefore, all the masters of old and now still teaching this method, the Kuan Yin method, self-nature realization. You can practice other methods, and you will maybe eventually realize your self-nature, because you will see the light. You might hear the sound also. But it's not very stable. As if you have opened already your own self-nature, with the light and the sound. Then it becomes daily practice. Even if you don't practice, it's already open. It will be automatic with you all the time. You won't lose it anymore. You can develop more, yeah, but you won't lose it. Just adhere to the 5 precepts. Even if you reach the 5th level already, please remember to keep the 5 precepts. Because the 5 precepts not only protecting you, but protect other beings as well. What kind of Buddha go out and kill chicken and eat? Huh? For example, yeah? But after you become enlightened, more and more enlightened, of course you will have only compassion and love for other beings. You will not want to eat anything. But it's just logically speaking, I'm just telling you that. To let you know why, okay? So that you might be more clear, okay? In your mind. The same with every other precept is to protect you, yeah? Protect others around you and your country and our world. If a person already enlightened and keep drinking and getting drunk all the time, is it good for our society? No, for example like that. So not drinking, not getting drunk is also protecting our society. Because if you say you are enlightened, and then you go out drinking and drunk driving, and then you might kill other people or hurt yourself, yeah? Wreck your car, and then you have to pay a lot of money to repair the car if you're not hurt. And if you're not hurt or you're dead, then, well, bad example, of a practitioner, right? Bad example for your kids, yeah, for your friends, your neighbor, anyone who knows that you're practicing spiritually, but you are a drunken person. And you might even hurt someone else. And then if you have drug, for example, you say, okay, I take drug, it's only harming me, only costing me money, but I don't harm anybody. You do harm somebody. You do harm anyone that see you doing that. They might copy, yeah, and harm themselves. And they might spend too much money, which should be used for their family benefit. And then, for you also, if you spend a lot of money from your family, then of course your family won't feel good. And maybe fight together. And it could be more serious, hurting each other, hurting the children. Once you don't get what you want, you might hurt family to get the money to come out and buy your drug, for example, like that. And your children will starve. Your family will be broken. It's bad for your happiness and for your family's happiness. So, even though you say you only harm yourself, but you do harm others. That's just some example. And if you keep telling lies, for example, no one will trust you anymore. And one day, people will find out, and maybe you'll be in more trouble. It's just example. And stealing or robbing, you might be in jail. Yeah, for example like that. And jail is not a fun place to be. You might think, it doesn't matter, I can go to jail. But then you go to jail, you will encounter other inmates. And not all of them are friendly. It's not just the jail, it is people who live in jail together with you. They may harm you in different ways. If the physical intercourse between man and woman, you call it sex. I'm shy to mention that word. When I first mentioned it, I was really very shy. But somebody asked me about it. I had to put on a brave face and tell him about why, a long time ago, some years ago. But even then nowadays, if I mention that, I still feel very shy. I don't know why. Forgive me if I'm not so brave as you think. I'm not all that brave. I'm not all that very free to talk about anything. It's because I'm your teacher, I have to. But I always try not to mention that if I can. So, if sex is also one of the 84,000 methods to practice, why didn't the Buddha ever mention it? He even told people, try not to follow the lustful temptation. Because he knew it's very dangerous. I told you last time already. And then, suppose you practice with one person, and you might get addicted to that person, and then that person doesn't want to practice with you anymore because some reason, then you might try to get someone else. And then it will be very, very chaotic and troublesome. Not to yourself only, but to other people involved. Yeah. Even if you want to be a teacher of this so-called tantric yoga, you are not safe from the danger of addiction to sensual pleasure. I also written here, it's a dangerous way because you could be entangled in its powerful pleasure and can't reach your goal or even forget it altogether. In this physical world, sex is the most common, yet the most powerful force to reach enlightenment. Very powerful. If you married or in love, or have boyfriend, girlfriend, you understand what I'm saying. I better not try this. But if you can avoid it, then try the way I have told you last time. The saints, enlightened saints, they have physical contact with their wives only several times a year, just to have children only. And after that, if they have enough children the way they think they should, as an obligation to family, or just to have some children for the parental love for the wife or the husband, they will stop it after having enough children, even though they are still married. At one time, Kabir the Weaver Saint, very famous poet also, he told people not to indulge in this kind of sensual pleasure. But they asked him why was he married and he had sensual pleasure before with his wife. He said, I was not enlightened. I was blind then. Yeah. So that means after fully enlightened, he and his wife become best friends only. And his wife was also a saint of high order. And she respected him then as a master, just like every other disciple. Sant Kabir is one of the, most famous saints in India. And you know already. Sometimes people say, what's the difference between your wife and my wife? Some of the men ask, we say, she's different. She's different, yeah. And the man, the disciple or maybe nosy people ask, what's the difference? So Kabir says, she obeys absolutely every one of my commandments, every one of my requests. And you know that. Some story I told you already. If some of you don't know, maybe I repeat just a small portion, yeah? So that person asked, and then he tell Kabir, prove it to me. Prove it to me that your wife really listens to everything you ask. So Kabir said to his wife, she's nearby, next to him, he said, go out please and get me some stones. A round stone or any stone. And then she brought it in. He said, now make a fire, put some oil in it, and fry the stone for me. She did exactly just that. Finally that person, Kapish, understood that Kabir's wife is truly different from other men's wife. And another time, they run out of flour to make chapati. And Kabir sent his wife to the neighboring shop to borrow some flour. But the man, the owner of the shop, fancied Kabir's wife. Yeah, a long time already. He always tried, but he never succeed. This time, because Kabir was short of flour to make chapati for his guests, he has many truth seekers came to his house. And of course he wants to treat them well. Well, whatever he can. He's just a weaver, He has not earned that much money. Even though he has princess as disciple. And the princess gave him 1 diamond, and he did not accept it. But then the princess stuck it under his roof somewhere and said, Master, if ever you need it, please sell it. so that you can have some decent lifestyle. So some years later, she asked him, how come you still live like a poor weaver? What happened to the diamond I gave you? He said, wherever you put it, it's still there. Yeah? So he still lives a life of a simple weaver. Whatever he earns, he uses. And whatever he has extra, if somebody comes to him in need or visit him, he treats them with that. But that day, too many people came, including some monks. At that time, mostly just monks came visit him. So the monks, of course, had nothing to offer. The monks in India, they go with only one staff, one bottle, like a god, to get the water. That's it. And then one clothes. One they cover around here, and one they wrap around them. Maybe a blanket, maybe a cloth. That's all they have, the Indian monk. The Indian monks that I have seen, okay? The Hindu monks, yeah, and other monks and nuns as well. Same. Even nuns there, they're also like that. Therefore, Kabir has to go borrow some flour. But this man, the owner of the shop, had taken much liking to the wife of Kabir a long time already. So this time he used this opportunity to kind of force her, say, if you have a physical relationship with me, then I give you as much flour as you want to take. The wife, of course, don't like that. Come home and told her husband. Kabir said, what? Just that? And you did not even agree? Come, I take you back there. Because it's raining and it's muddy. He's a gentleman, so he carried her to the shop and tell the owner, here, my wife, please, be gentle, take care of her, and give me the flowers. Oh, the owner of the shop was so shocked. Who wouldn't be, right? He thought he should do it secretly with the wife, but the husband knew, and then even offer him, his wife, openly. He was so scared. Also, he saw both of them, even though it's raining hard outside, both of them are dry, just like we are now. So he was so scared, and he begged for forgiveness. And he said, please, take as much flour as you need. I will never dare to offend both of you, saintly practitioner again. Please forgive me. All right, so they have flour and nothing happened. I mentioned about the saints. After enlightenment, they practice abstinence. They still have wife, children maybe, but they keep abstinence from physical pleasure. They keep themselves abstinence from sex. Okay, sorry. I really don't like to speak it, but let's be straight is good, because sometimes talk around, you don't understand anything. Yeah? Or you pretend you don't understand. Fine. Therefore, I mention all the saints, they practice abstinence. Keep yourself busy. If you are bothered by that powerful force of nature that imparted within your being as one of the enlightening methods, just be busy. Help others instead of thinking of yourself too much. When you're too busy, you come home, you just meditate a little, and then you drop dead. You have no more energy to follow your inside desire. And living alone, of course, helps, okay? And live in separate rooms, separate houses, as wife and husband, does help. And do not look left and right, back and forth, if any object of your adoration appear in front of your eyes. The monks was taught by the Buddha to look only about 1 meter in front of them, so that they can see the insects, so they don't hurt them. They don't look anywhere at all. Don't look at the woman. And look upon all the women as your mother. And for the nun, look upon all the men as your father, or your brother, or your sister, like that, to avoid trouble. If any desirous thought creep up in your mind, you cut, yeah? Think of something else, recite the 5 names. Try as best as you can. Of course, it's very powerful, this one. Very, very powerful. It is very powerful. It even can create human beings. Imagine how more powerful can any other power be. Create maybe not just one human, but many humans. Create the whole world as you see it. So how powerful that force inside you. If you cannot tame it, then of course it's understandable. Huh? Just try to. Maybe that's why when women and men came of age, they have to marry and slowly tame it. Try your best. Try your best. Because this physical pleasure not only entangle you in a lower type of energy, but also expand your energy too much. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Now I don't think I need to say any more, do I? No? No. Okay. All the politicians in our former generation knew all this also. Everyone know actually, but they use this power also even to exchange for lands, for more expansion of their country, yeah, by marrying their daughter off or their son off to neighboring country to exchange for some piece of province as dowry for the marriage. In Vietnam before, they did that also. One of our princess, famous for being beautiful and virtuous, saw our neighbor king. Vietnam before is not all the way from Hanoi all the way to the Cà Mau. No. It was only from on the northern side. Then slowly, with this marriage, we get the central of Vietnam now. And later, some more excuses. It's a long story. You want to hear? Not that long, but I make it short. There was a song about it, yeah, that I sing sometime before Christmas. This princess, absolutely beautiful. Out of this world kind of beauty. And she's coming of age already, 16 at the time, and she was in love with the general, the royal general of the guards. But then the king of other country, a neighboring country, maybe threatened to make war. So our king pacified by saying, we should be neighbor, we should be friend instead. I have beautiful princess. The king wanted that. The neighbor king wanted that. He said, unless the princess married to him, he will not let them. At that time, Ta Yue be in peace. So the king offered the princess. And of course, it's a heartbreaking love story for the princess and the general. He has to accompany her as the chief of the bodyguards to bring her to the other country, to offer her to another man. No matter if he's a king or not, he's another man. And he wasn't that good looking. Yeah. So, after that, our country have peace with the neighbor, fine. And have, I think, two provinces extra added into our nation. Okay, expanded our country, border, fine. But later, when this king died, because the king of the neighboring country at that time called Champa country, Cham, nước Cham. He was already older when he married the young princess. And then he died. And in that country, tradition is that the king's body would be burned. And the princess, or whatever consorts he had at that time, all have to die with him in the same way, alive. Burned alive. Because it was a wrong translation. One wrong word. Because that time Champa also influenced by Indian culture. If you see some of their stupas that they built and the sculpting outside, the structure is very much like India. Many of the stupas. Stupas is people either built to bury some important person inside or to to worship some of the saints' relic, like tooth. The saints or the Buddha died, they worship the tooth. They build a stupa, make it elaborate, painting or sculpting outside, beautiful decoration to worship. So if you see some of the stupas that are left over in our country, Vietnam nowadays, you will see they very much resemble the Indian kind of structure of building. I'm just telling you this, nobody tell me, it's just my calendar, okay? Because I saw it, I observed, and I see the similarity. So the princess, who is still young and beautiful at that time, was going to be burned with the king, accompanied with other concubines and second queen and all that, or queen and concubine. In some culture, they believe that these people will accompany the king in the afterlife to keep him company and to serve him, take care of him. And there's another theory, I think, because in India, a long time ago, people did that too. If the husband died or the king died, an important person died, then the wives, the concubines, the queen had to be burned together. Because the scriptures say that when the king died, then the wife stand in front of the pyre, the fire that they make to burn the body of the king, for example. They say in front of the the fire. But then they don't know, somebody maybe deliberately or mistakenly took out the word in front. They say in the fire. Of course, your wife, you stand in front of your husband. Cremation, no? Of course, right? It's the closest family kin. And then they say in the fire instead of in front of the fire. So many women has been burned this way. Imagine how cruel that can be. So I guess maybe because of the Hinduism or whatism at that time, influence from India, the tradition in Champa royalty at that time also following that. So our princess was in danger. So of course our king, the Vietnamese king at that time, sent the general, the one who protected her all this time, and sent also accompany her to the next country for the marriage. So he sent him and many others, some of their trusted guards, sent to their neighbor country, trying with all their might to save the princess' life. So he did. Somehow they did. But after that, the general and the princess are no more seen anywhere in the public eye. They just run away with each other from the politics, from royalty, from this kind of trade, human sentiment and love, just for land or for peace even. They just run away. They didn't ever come back. We understand. I would also. And the general at this time would never, ever want to risk one more time to let the princess go back to the royal palace. He did one time, and he's pained so much already. So this time he has a chance, he won't ever let her go back to the palace again. And you would understand that. And she probably would never want to go back. If a father can give away a daughter like that, I don't think the daughter would trust the father again, ever. Even if it's for peace, sacrifice her. But she would be scared the whole life already. The scar in the heart would never heal completely. I told you that formerly, or maybe even now, people use this physical sex to exchange for many other things. And even to, maybe willingly, just to promote themselves to higher position, to more favorable situation as well. It probably happens in many places, not everywhere. We've seen sometime in the movies, but in real life probably also happens. as I said, to be able to create a human like this, yeah? Can you imagine how powerful that is? So how can we, as a normal physical person, withstand this strong creative power and enlightening power that come with that as well? Our world has never been completely liberated, and because of this power also. And our world has populated sometimes beyond necessity and beyond our economical standards, yeah? Because of this power also. And rarely can anyone withstand it, okay? I read again because it's too much. So powerful that it could even create a life, you know? Even animals also create another life because of this power. But animals, most animals, they're more clever than us. They have physical contact only during season. And then they don't have anything to do with each other again. Except us humans. We continue far beyond season. I don't know if we ever know what a season is for that. But the animals, they only have it in their seasons. Okay, and then they take care of each other and take care of their offspring. We do it all the time. It creates a life, or even some lives at the same time. Some people have quadruplet or quintuplet even, or twin, yeah, you know all that. Okay, so it's so powerful, that if the humans succumb to this, we will not feel surprised. It's just for an enlightening method, it's even more troublesome. Because it's so difficult to handle, to tame, or to use it for enlightenment practice. So it is rarely used by true practitioners, as the negative side effect is too great a risk to take. The Buddha is well aware of this fact, that he even advised his monks not to look at women, even if a woman is already 70 years old and lying sick on the bed. Right? 对吗？我讲的对吗？我怕我记忆力不好，老了，讲对吗？啊 ，good， 还好，还记得。But I told you last time also, some time ago. 对吗，老师傅对啊，讲对啊，哎呀，Buddha 有讲啊，佛有这样说 ，OK. Maybe you, the lay Buddhists, have not read this part, but all the monks and the nuns know it. That's why I asked them, okay? I read this when I was 20-something, okay? So I might forgot, okay? Imagine, 40-something, 50 years already. And not bad, eh? Still remember. I just asked them so to confirm with you, to verify, so that you know that I did not tell you something wrong, okay? Very difficult to withstand this power. The Buddha knew. So the monks and the nuns only look 1 meter ahead. They don't look anywhere. So I can see only insects to avoid, you know, to avoid killing insects, etc., etc. Okay, the other I talked already. So the Buddha knew that almost for certain that all men will fail this method. This we don't need to be a Buddha to know, right? The Buddha knew. I think all men knew. You don't have to wait until you become a Buddha to realize this trouble. That almost all men will fail this method. Such a powerful force lay within our fragile and vulnerable physical. It's just too much to handle. Especially since we have been stripped of all knowledge of our divine self-nature. Yeah? We did not even know about our self-nature. And we are endowed with this kind of much powerful creative force. So it's very difficult for people. Some people call that hormone. But it is the force of this, supposed to be for enlightening power within us that make it that way. So in the scientific way, we call it a hormone. We are stripped of all knowledge of our divine origin and our divine wisdom. We know nothing. We're born deaf, dumb, spiritually, and blind. Spiritually, We have eyes where we don't see, have ears where we don't hear. So in the Bible also say the same. Seeing you see, but you do not perceive. Hearing you hear, but you do not understand. That's what it means. We are deaf, blind, spiritually. We see only outer thing. We see nothing of our real self and the real world within. So we stripped off all of that. So left alone to face all obstacles and troubles that heaped on us by the negative power of Maya. The powerful force inside we cannot handle. And outside we're heaped on with all kinds of obstacles, temptation, trouble. That is already too much to handle. So truly, if we don't go hide within our protective cell, then we're really doomed. Life after life, come back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do the same thing or similar things. Never can be liberated. If there is no Buddha in the world, no saints, no enlightened person to help us with their blessing, with their compassion, we are doomed forever. If we can be reborn again as human or even as animal, it's already too good. Just worry we might be pushed too hard, that we do wrong thing, that will be condemned to hell, maybe forever. Remember Surangama Sutra. Even the practitioner sincerely want to practice. But then once he got something, some power, some knowledge, he begin to want something else. Because not being guided by a true enlightened master such as Buddha or Jesus or Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when these masters were alive. Okay? They can help us, but they mostly push us to go find living master. They help in any way they can, except initiation. That has to be done through the portal of physical opening, okay, which a living master in the physical form can perform, together with the blessing that flow towards the true seeker by the master. Share the blessing, share the knowledge, share the grace. Otherwise we are doomed forever. And after we already enlightened by a master, then all the master can help us inside. They all can help if we pray. The master that transfer the enlightening wisdom can also help inside. But many other masters, they're always around, also helping us. Just lean on them. Just pray to them. Don't forget them. Always pray for help. Okay, any help we get. Because in this world, if we don't have this kind of help, we drown. Anytime. Because we live in physical world, in enemy country. This is our enemy land. It's not our real land. Our real land is in Nirvana, is in heaven. So, to be here, we need help from all kind of invisible beings who are more powerful than us in our stage of young enlightenment, young self-knowledge. We are just learning to walk. We cannot run, we cannot fly yet, so we rely on the inner master power, the physical inner master power, and the past and future masters all the time. If lacking real protection, most beings succumb to this powerful force from within, the creative power, which is supposed to be used for a more noble purpose, for enlightenment and liberation. We cannot use it. Actually, very difficult because we don't have protection. If we already lack protection and we practice No, not even thinking of practice. Most people in the world, they don't even know this method, like the power that can be used for enlightenment. They don't know anyway. And they don't have protection, mostly not. Not strong enough for this, yeah. So I say, what a pity indeed. 太可惜. Rarely used. Rarely can succeed. But God is good because He gives us so many methods to choose. Many methods to choose. But the Kuan Yin method is the best. All the Buddhas say that. Kuan Yin Bodhisattva say that. Manjushri Bodhisattva say that. Jesus taught that. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught that. So when you see the Muslim praying, they do pray almost like when you do Kuan Yin.